back.
Welcome back.
Here.
And as you can see, we thought we wasn't going to have a podcast, but we've managed to find a location.
Somehow, we've managed to dig out this beautiful backdrop, which...
And I think it's a bit of a gem, do you not think?
Yeah.
I think it's better than what we usually have. It's better than the white walls and stuff, so it's quite cool.
Yeah.
We're undisturbed. The pub kindly offered us a little meeting room.
Yeah,
and
thanks very much.
The perks of that is we get a beer as well.
Cheers.
So cheers.
Watch the Mac.
So episode 11.
12. Episode 12.
Episode 12. So where do you want to start?
Yeah, before we start, I think we should just say thanks very much to all the fans. They've been coming out in their droves.
Yep.
They've been supporting us. We've been getting some really lovely comments from people. I can't thank them enough, really. We're up to nearly 500 subscribers
Which is
now.
crazy, considering the last one we had, we started on 400.
Yeah.
So now almost 500. Like I said, we didn't quite do the 100 this time.
No.
But I feel like we're optimistic about we'll reach that soon.
The likes are going up. We're still not quite reaching that 100 mark on all of them. But, yeah, all your support is much appreciated. And keep, writing comments.
Yeah, we want to hear from you. So just keep sending us your thoughts and what we think we should improve.
Yeah.
Tell us what you think about the upcoming tennis and tennis that's going on at the moment. Yep. And, we'll go from there. So let's just get into it,
let's get stuck in. Yeah, I just wanted to bring up something that was in the news, which came up this week. Well, seems like my starting quote on all of them, something that's in the news. But I just thought I'd bring up, there's been a little bit of controversy around a few players, and they're speaking about this clay court swing.
Yeah, well, you've just had the Australian Open, and for some reason now they do this thing where after the Australian Open and before they start like the Sunshine Double, which is Indian Wells and Miami.
Yep.
They have a few clay court tournaments in South America.
Yeah, I don't get that. Why are they throwing them just in the middle of a load of hard court seasons?
I'm like Kyrgios, mate. He hates it.
Well, I think a lot of players do. But I think the one thing that people are struggling with in like the tennis community, there's places like this, is it ATP Mexico? I heard that they're all going loco down in Acapulco.
I killed it. I thought you thought it was called Mexico something. But no, I like that. Well done.
Yeah. A lot of tennis players are going loco
that's it.
down in Acapulco because they've changed it from a clay court to a hard court.
No, but that's happened a few years ago. It's not a recent change.
I know it's not.
It happened a few years ago, and the reason they did it is because a lot of people are just unhappy with this. Like, why are they playing clay courts in between? They've got Australian Open, then they've got the two Masters in the Sunshine Double in America.
Bizarre.
Why would they have just clay courts in between that?
Maybe Rafa gave them a little bit of cash.
he's in Mexico playing on the hard court. But the thing what I find weird is there's no logical reason to do it aside from, I don't know. It's quite nice for, say, the local people that at least they get a tournament, like people in not Mexico, wherever South America predominantly, isn't it? It's like Brazil, Argentina. There's a few.
Yeah, they have like the Buenos Aires, and I think it all finishes up in Sao Paulo is normally the final one on that tour. Yeah,
so it does make sense for, like, say, them sort of people, like locals and stuff. They get to see their stars. They get to see tennis in that time of year when they probably wouldn't usually be able to. But it just seems a bit strange because all the top players are going to avoid it because there's no logical reason for them to be there.
Well, all the top players except for Nadal.
No, Nadal's he's in Mexico in the hard.
Yeah, but I mean in the past.
Oh, in the past,
yeah,
he used to do it.
He said, I'm happy to have another clay
obviously,
court.
because he's the best clay court player ever.
Yeah, so, but they couldn't draw the people in. Apparently, they're even trying to offer people money, but people don't want to lose their ranking points. And
but me personally, do you not enjoy the clay court?
But not in the middle of a hard court season.
No, I'm not saying that. I disagree. I think that it shouldn't be now. I feel like when you've got the hard court season, you're preparing for like two big tournaments coming up. It just doesn't really make sense why you'd put clay court in between that. But I'm just saying from a sort of viewer's perspective, in terms of like as an audience or neutral perspective, like you want to see something enjoyment, something cool, something fun. The tournaments have looked pretty decent, right? You see the amount of people. It's packed stadiums. Or like whatever it is, not really massive stadiums, but they're packed. Everyone's there watching it, everyone's supporting it, and it gives these lower ranked people a chance to do well. Like recently, we've just seen Gianluca Major.
Yeah, he did really well.
Impressive, didn't he? Beat Team, got to the final.
Straight sets.
And then he lost the final, didn't he?
Yeah, to Garin. But Garin, well, another person we were going to speak about, been scintillating form, isn't he?
Yeah, incredible.
Just
He keeps rising in the rankings. He's won, what's it now, two
ATP.
two
This is his
ATPs
first
this year.
ATP 500 that he's won. So
yeah, wow.
rising in the ranks.
Yeah,
and
so congrats to Garin. You're doing brilliant.
Perfect
and
time.
I don't think he's going to be complaining about the clay court swing, is he? He's
so
probably
much.
loving it.
Yeah, I think he's totally enjoying those 2 ATP wins.
And I must admit, I've actually enjoyed them. I've enjoyed the tournaments, right?
I have.
I think they've been fun. They've been really entertaining. Like, even looking at the Schwartzman one where he battled on through injury.
Would we have got to see Carlos Alcaraz Garcia otherwise?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
So,
we wouldn't have. I know
no.
he's doing well on hard, but I don't think he would have had that same impact, would he, on that surface?
No, not for sure. That's the surface we really wanted to see him come out and flourish on.
So on that basis, like, I think it's been brilliant for the game. I don't want to be too negative about it. Kyrgios, I understand why he's getting a bit bitter about it, because he's, at the end of the day, mate, if he was good on clay like he was on the other surfaces, I don't think he would be moaning so much. However, I do see their point as well in terms of it doesn't make sense, because it's not going to attract all the top players.
Well, it doesn't. That's the problem.
Because obviously it's not going to.
There's no money for the tournaments like that.
Yeah.
And that's been a real problem. That's why they changed this Acapulco one.
Yeah.
Like they've swapped it over because they literally couldn't even pay players to go and...
They wasn't filling it, mate. They was just getting all these like 200, 300 players. No one, like, it's when you've got these big tournaments and ATP, like, there's points at stake. Like, that's just not what you want to see, is it? Like, you want to see players raring to go. You want to see it packed with the top players at the moment. And at the end of the day, they're all going to be there. They're all going to be playing on hard.
Well, it's a little bit like this one that's on in Chile at the moment. I mean, it's an ATP, but the level of competition compared to...
What's that one called? Sorry, I wasn't speaking to the mic.
Santiago.
Oh, the Santiago one.
Yeah, I mean, the level of competition there in comparison to this Acapulco is, well, it's like a challenger event in comparison. So, I mean, well, Mega's in that one. He's probably looking to... oh, no.
No, Mega pulled out.
He's pulled out.
He pulled out.
One,
Yeah,
sorry.
It makes sense. He got so far on the other one. But it's amazing for him. Like, he's really burst on the scene. Like, people know who he is now.
Yeah.
Which they didn't know before.
And he was really happy with it. There was no disappointment from him at all, really, to get to the final. I don't think he ever saw, and to beat Team on the way, like the person tipped to win the French this year. Incredible.
Yeah, and talking about Team, I think it's important to note that he had the chance to go third in the rankings.
He didn't he?
He's bottled it again. I don't want to... Bottling's a strong word. He's an incredible player, young player. He's the biggest challenger to the top three.
Do you reckon if he
Come on, it's getting to a point now where, like, it's starting to be a bit... Come on, every time he gets a chance to do something, he chokes. In the Australian Open, he was on top. I know you Novak fans going to hate me for this, but Team, that was his to lose. That was his to lose. Novak is incredible. And, like, he fought in and was so resilient, and he started playing his best tennis when it actually mattered.
Do you think with that, like, match against Mega... The fact he knew he had to win that,
of course,
that made him play.
Of course,
yeah, he couldn't play it.
No doubt. I've seen it so many times now, and people keep talking of him as a young player coming. He's 26 years old.
Yeah, it's not
chicken. He's not a spring chicken anymore, mate. And it's like it gets to a point where you need to start pulling out results.
Yeah, and well, if against someone like Mega, Mega's a very good player, but
he's a good player, but Team should be beaten.
He was outside the top 100, so you'd expect Team to.
He was 200, right?
No, 100. I think he's around 120 or something.
Oh, right, fair enough.
But he's still in and around the 100 mark,
yeah.
And for someone like Team, who's just literally come from a Grand Slam final with 5 sets with Djokovic, to have that as a performance on your favoured surface.
Even the game before against Melinda Rodriguez, he dropped a set.
Well, that against the wild card.
Yeah, so he was playing good. It's his home crowd and stuff, but I just feel like Team needs to be doing better, and a lot of it is not because he's not a good enough player.
He dropped a set in every round.
Yeah,
I'm not really, except for somebody who, like we saw with Djokovic in the Australian Open, somebody who's gonna pose a threat. He dropped one set and he was just shut up shop for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah.
No one could get a look in,
yeah.
And Team doesn't seem to be on that level yet at all.
And I think it's important, like, the other week I was criticising Felix for a similar kind of thing, right? Like, this mental thing.
Yeah.
And he's now reached 5 finals.
Yeah.
Reached another final. We should talk about that.
Yep.
That was in...
was
it Montpellier?
Yeah, no, it was Marseille again.
Marseille, sorry. In Marseille, in France. And he reached another... He must love it. He loves France, doesn't he, Felix?
Yeah, I think he just loves finals at the moment.
Not winning them, though, because... In the 5 finals he's played, he's lost them, and it's been quite convincingly. Like he's lost. He's not won a set. He's lost 10 sets.
Yeah,
so he's 10-0 in finals now in terms of sets.
Just unfortunate that he's been coming up against people who you probably would see in the latter part of. Well, we'd tip to the latter part of slams a little bit.
No, not really. I don't think so.
Tsitsipas. I would. Monfils in the form he's in, I probably would right now.
One of them was against Pair. There was a few others in there, which is. I feel like it is. I feel like for him that you got to remember it's a final. There's not going to be no easy ATP finals. Like if you get to a final, the guys there are merit.
Yeah.
I just feel like the level he's been playing at prior to the final is much higher than the final. Yeah. Maybe it's the fatigue factor of playing so many successive matches. Maybe it's the fact that it's the pressure of the final.
It's hard to
say. He's a young guy, and I'm not going to like rip into him because it's amazing what he's been doing.
19.
Like to be getting 19, to be getting them finals is like it's unheard of, isn't it? So.
And he's still getting those ranking points, and hopefully he'll just finally convert and turn those into just like an actual winning performance in the final. If he can just grab a set in a final, I think it will just calm him down mentally. It's just getting over that hurdle.
It doesn't do him any damage, does it?
No, 19.
Maybe his confidence could take a little bit of a hit, but I don't think it can too much because at the end of the day, in terms of his career, he's only going to be pushing further up the rankings. His experience was something what he is lacking because he's definitely got all the skill. He needs as much of this experience as possible, and eventually, like. I'm not sure who it is, but I think Ivan Lendl, the first 4 finals he got to, or 4 or 5 finals, he lost as well. And we know how he turned out.
Yeah, exactly. One of the greatest of all time.
Yeah, so but let's not put too much heat on him.
Talking about finals, thought an interesting final was over in ATP Delray Beach. Did you see the pictures?
Oh,
we had
with Yoshi and
we had Nishioka and Opelka, probably like the tallest and shortest on the tour, playing in the final. Looked like a father-son match or something.
Man, I love Yoshi. I actually love Yoshi now.
He's so good.
Like I loved him before, but I love him even more now. Like his interview where he was talking about, at least people know who my name, like they'll know who I am. If you want, just call me Yoshi. And he's walking around Delray Beach with a little Yoshi hat on.
He is an incredible player, and now he's in the top 50 now, so he's really on everybody's radar. I think I don't know why you give Riley such a hard time. If you watch that final, mate, some of the shots he was playing were really good.
Yeah, I don't want to put too much. He's 22 years old, really top player. I just don't like. It comes down to me again. Everyone's in sport. The beauty of sport, everyone has a different opinion. Everyone has their own opinions on what they like, what they don't like. For me, his style of play of that overpowering, massive serve. I think he got 24 aces in that final, or 26 aces. Yeah. I just find it not so fun.
That's not even that much for him, though. That's for a 3-set. But he actually...
I just don't enjoy
some of the shots he was playing, if you watched, he actually was doing some nice half volleys at the net. He was doing... Like, he had to stoop quite low to get them.
How much has he paid you to say all these good things about him?
Mate, if you just watched it... his inside-out forehand was probably the most used thing that he was using, running around his backhand a lot. But he was just hammering it to Yoshi's backhand, I believe it was, just into that far corner. And it just seemed to be just doing the damage.
Hat off to Riley.
Yeah, well done.
Did well, mate.
22, so come on.
And I liked his, after the match, how he was... he started talking about the women's game. I don't know if you saw it.
No, I didn't see.
He brought up Corey Goff, and he was talking about how influential she is, because he lives only 15 minutes away from Delray Beach, funny enough.
So that's probably his local training ground.
That's what I'm saying. I wish I'd have known that before, because I'd have picked him to win it, but I didn't realise he lives so close to it. Corey Goff is also very close as well, and he was saying how like when she's playing, like you see the top rafters all filled up as well.
I bet, yeah.
And like she really does bring a massive crowd. Like, he was being very humble in the fact that a lot of people that were there supporting him, being the hometown boy, but he was trying to bring the attention off him and say, well, you should see it when Corey Goff's there. Should he get the thing? And I thought it was a nice touch to bring the women's game, especially Corey, another young professional who's, as we all know, an incredible player.
Yeah, on the hard court as well.
Yeah.
But, yeah, drawing back to like something you had said on previous episodes, I remembered you were saying you were going to put a bet on if somebody won the tournament last year. I noticed that Tsitsipas won in Marseille last year. Where was your bet?
And news report, no bet.
could have won yourself a little bit. And he wasn't he was in poor form as well.
No, but I think the odds would have been great, mate.
Well,
was he top seed?
I think he was second seed.
He was top seed.
Medvedev, I think.
Oh, yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
But then that brings us on
What a brilliant segue.
Segue onto what?
The octopus with no arms.
Like, yeah.
The no-armed octopus.
What happened? It seems they've been bitten off by a few sharks over the past few weeks.
For those who don't know, Karen Kachanov come out and said he finds Medvedev like a bit of an octopus. Like, you can never beat him with any shots. Like, he's everywhere. And to be fair, we've always agreed. Like, the guy's incredible.
Yeah.
We've looked at him as the best outside the top three with team in that sort of bracket.
And there's something that I've noticed now, though. It's just similar to last year. He having this weird patchy form around the early part of the year again.
Yeah.
He just it's like a couple of wins,
I wouldn't
couple
even
of
say
losses.
it's patchy, mate. I think he's terrible.
Well,
I wouldn't say it's patchy. What's he won?
Right now he got bageled by Jules Simon, mate.
And Jules Simon, that's the first time he's ever bageled someone in his professional career in the top 10.
And do you know?
And Jules Simon's been around a long time.
That's very true.
So to not to not do that.
Not saying that's old.
It must say something to Medvedev. You're a bit older than that.
What? Shut up! I'm not that old. Yeah, I was going to point out something that probably people didn't realise was. They've actually met twice before. Medvedev's never beaten Jules Simon. It must be his bogey player.
Nah, but I think Medvedev at the moment he's losing 21. And I just find it really peculiar because the last game I saw Medvedev play well was in the ATP Cup against Djokovic. Granted, he lost the match. It was 2-1, I believe. I think he took a set off Djokovic.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that, but I think he did. And he played, irrelevant to that, he played extremely well in that match. Like he was there. It was a Medvedev of who I expect. And I thought, he started this year like he ended it. Since then, he's not been winning anything. He's been going out first round of tournaments. His level's just been not there. And I'm not sure what it is. I feel like it's hard to know because is it something with his personal life, his training? It's hard, we can't really. I don't want to speculate on what the cause of it is, but something's clearly not right with Medvedev at the moment.
Is it injury?
Medvedev 6-0. Come on.
It just doesn't seem. He's just not the same player. Has he lost like a little bit of the drive? Like, I think it's since.
I don't think it's his drive.
I think since he lost that final to Nadal, he hasn't seemed as at the races.
I don't know. I saw him in the ATP Cup against Djokovic. He looked impressive.
Oh, well, maybe there's just something. I don't know. Everyone goes through like Spurs, but maybe he's just like not a.
Maybe arrogance. Maybe he's become a bit complacent.
I was going to say maybe he just has a January and February. He just has a bad couple of months. Maybe there's something going on in those months we don't know about in his life. I don't know. His form on all surfaces at the moment. We know.
No, he's only been playing hard, but he's not been doing it very well.
But we know that he's moving into the clay court scene, and that's not his cup of tea, is it?
Yeah, it's funny though. Like some players, they start the year really bad, but then if you look at other players, they start so well. Like a prime example, Monfils now. He's on his longest unbeaten winning streak. He's won 10 matches in a row. When was the last time we saw Monfils do that? Well, he's not.
Maybe he's just stopped all the fancy shit. Maybe he's just stopped all the fancy.
What's happened to you? You lost your voice in the pub.
Maybe, yeah, it's the different surroundings. Yeah, maybe he's just lost all the fancy shots and, or fancy bravado around the court.
The thing is, he's always had that level where we knew he could reach a level where he's going to go on a run like this and win tournaments. It's just he's not really done it as to yet. Like he's always won stuff. He's an impressive player. He's one of the best in the world.
Yeah.
And every year he wins something, at least one tournament.
Who knows? Maybe he's just been working on something in the off season and has just polished up a couple of little bits of his game.
But so far this year, like he's been amazing. Like, the form he's been in is incredible.
He's barely dropping the set.
Yeah. So like, hats off to Monfils as well. Like, wow, well done, mate. Like you're doing amazing. And he's in the most recent tournament. So what's that? Is that Dubai?
Yeah, I think that's like the most interesting. Novak Djokovic, who. Well, is on another unbeaten run at the moment. So he's been unbeaten in 2020.
So maybe they're both. One of them's going to be beaten, right? They're not going to go through the whole tournament with both being unbeaten.
They're on a collision course for the semi-finals, I think.
I don't think you can rule Monfils out. The form he's been playing in, I feel like he's got a good chance. Like obviously Djokovic is there, Tsitsipas is there.
Yeah.
But Monfils, he's playing well. Maybe can he do it? I don't know. What do you
know.
think? What do you guys think? Do you think Monfils can beat Djokovic?
Well,
let's not disregard Tsitsipas. He's been playing well recently.
Karen Kachanov's in there as well.
Yeah. No, it's stacked with some good players,
Andrei Rublev.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no. It's
interesting first round match of Evans versus Fognini.
Depends what Fognini turns up, mate.
Yeah, which one's going to turn up?
What one? If he turns up like the guy we know he's capable of beating, I feel like he can beat Evans.
And your
But
man?
then saying that with Evans as well, like he's a bit hit and miss as well, so you never really know.
So that one's a pick.
Just avoid, mate. It's a 50-50.
Avoid that on the betting front.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, there's also... Yeah, Batista Agut is there as well, so another person.
Top player. No, it's a stacked tournament, and I know the last episode, wasn't the last one, the 2 episodes before, check it out if you've not already, was about Djokovic potentially going unbeaten. We both kind of agreed that that's more or less impossible, but a lot of people in the comments touched on the fact that do they think that Djokovic is going to be able to go for the 4 slams and win them all, like so unbeaten in the 4 slams? And that's, I feel like, more of a feasible argument. Like we spoke about being unbeaten in the year. It's not really. It's never really been. It's never happened. It's never really going to happen because we're always going to slip up here and there. It's natural.
Yeah.
But to go the 4 slams, what do you think about that?
It's all dependent on the French, isn't it? I think.
So you think Wimbledon and US, he's got like a.
Well, wasn't so sure.
You don't see him losing them two.
I wasn't so sure on that. I was saying previously that I thought. He's going to win 3. Obviously, I was minusing off the French. But now, like, I think he has a very good chance. If it's now depending on this seeding in the French, you just don't know if Nadal's going to have to meet Thiem before the final. If Djokovic meets Thiem in the final, who knows? That bottle might be out again, mate. And he might be...
If Djokovic meets Thiem in the final, Djokovic wins. Regardless of the fact that it's on clay.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Thiem win because it's his first one, but... I don't know. It's just I question his mentor at the moment. That's all. So, but with regards to Djokovic going unbeaten in the 4 slams, what do you guys think? I don't think it's going to happen. I'm going to go out on it. I think he's going to lose in the French, and I also think Roger Federer is going to be back in time for Wimbledon.
Is he going to be back though?
And Roger Federer is going to be getting all. He's going to be ready, prepared. He's going to be putting his all into Wimbledon. So that's what my heart's saying anyway. I tip Roger Federer to win Wimbledon.
Wow. A man with one leg to win Wimbledon.
God, then what's your one? You're playing too much on the fence here, Ben.
No, I've already told you that I think Novak Djokovic is going to win 3 of the 4 slams.
Fair enough.
But if he meets Thiem in the final of the French, he could win 4.
Will Djokovic get defeated then in this tournament, this upcoming one?
Which one? What
the one he's playing in right now?
Dubai?
Sorry, Dubai. I think you got Tsitsipas.
Oh, it's really.
He's a massive worry. He beats Djokovic a lot.
That's his biggest, his
What,
biggest
not Monfils
bogey.
in the form he's playing?
You
think Djokovic takes Monfils?
Only based on past form and the fact
past form? What do you mean? The recent. Look at the recent.
No,
form.
I mean between the heads.
Fair enough.
But
head-to-head.
I just think Tsitsipas sometimes has his number. Like he just seems to find a way just to take him to tie breaks and just grind it out, and he just keeps everything back in play.
True,
He's like similar to like a Djokovic. He just keeps getting another one back.
The one thing about Tsitsipas, to be a bit analytical about his game, I've noticed, is on his backhand side, he sometimes, when he's under pressure on his backhand, he always tends to go for the backhand, like forcing the backhand. Like he's a bit too powerful on it. He's always trying to hit that 2-handed backhand thing. When I feel like
single-handed backhand.
No, it's double.
Tsitsipas
is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think he tries to put too much on it.
Yeah, and he's always trying to hit the one down the line.
He's always not even that. He's trying to hit one like a
winner,
a smack, like a hard shot. Like he's trying to power one back. When the best thing for him to be doing is just slice it and try and regain position again.
Yeah.
He hasn't seemed to understand that in his game, and I feel like if that clicks, he can be a really amazing player.
Well, that's one
because when he's pushed in a corner, instead of trying to do something which is virtually impossible to do, if he just slices it and gets it deep on the court, like you see Djokovic, or you see all of the top players do, if he's able to implement that in his game, I feel like he's going to be able to be in rallies longer.
That's important.
And eventually win more.
The
slice is underrated, honestly.
Well, it's important because I watched an interesting interview the other day. It was actually on another tennis podcast, which was a Slice Tennis podcast. Go and check out Slice Tennis. This guy really knows his stuff. He's in and around a lot of ATP events, stuff like that. Actually, he was interviewing Raonic.
Yeah.
And Raonic was saying to him that the one thing about Djokovic's game, he just gets it back down the middle a lot. And he makes you make the angle.
Yeah.
He's not trying to hit a winner every time, and he'll hit it slow and lofted back so that he has more time to get back in position. And it's smart tennis.
Because Djokovic knows that without an angle, you're not going to beat him.
Exactly. So maybe other players can learn from that.
I think being clever is more important than like the ability sometimes. Like all of these top players have ability. Like within the top 100, you can say they've all got an ability. Obviously, the top 20 probably have a bit more than the others. However, a lot of it is your mental aspect in terms of like the way your game management is.
Yeah.
And Djokovic, obviously, I would go on here right now and say that I think he is the best on the whole tour at game management.
I think
no one can compete with Djokovic in game management.
His strategy and variety of shot is, I think, key to his victories. I think that's where he would come up short only sometimes against Murray. That's why they were good adversaries. Murray changes up his game constantly when he's playing. His mixture of slices, top spin, short hit, long hit. There's no.
We'll have to do an episode on Murray.
Yeah,
on the resurgence of Murray. When's Murray going to be back?
Yeah, come on, Andy.
We'd love to see you back on the court again. So
come on, we miss you, mate. I won ATP win last year. Just gave us a little taste again.
I was watching his highlights against Dimitrov in Acapulco a few years back. Incredible match.
Oh.
Incredible.
If you saw his match against one of the new up-and-comers last year when he won that ATP event, it was Ugo Humbert. And that match was, for somebody who'd just come back from injury, to be playing at that standard, I was seriously impressed.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he was hitting. They were power rallies, and for about 25 shot rallies, and he was in every single step of the way.
It's incredible. It'd be good to see him back. But for right now, we're in Dubai.
Yeah.
So Djokovic, go on a whim. Do you think he's going to win that tournament?
Yeah, I've got to.
I'm going to say Tsitsipas. I think Tsitsipas takes the tournament.
Tough.
And on the subject of Dubai, let's move over to the women's game.
Yes.
So recently we've just seen that conclude.
Yeah, they
and the
finished
final
in Dubai
with
last week.
Rybakina and Halep.
Yeah, well, Halep we were discussing. She came through in a tight match against Ons Jabeur, but to her credit, she was back refreshed, and then she made it all the way to the final to face Rybakina, who has been in amazing form herself.
Don't know what to say about her apart from wow.
Yeah.
Ridiculous player. She's got an engine like something else. Like she's just continuously playing after tournament after tournament after tournament.
Yep.
And she's there at the latter stages. She's been losing a few finals. She's not been getting that final step. But she's 20 years old.
Very close final. She
and
loves
it's
to
very
draw it
close,
out, doesn't she? To that last tie
and
break.
she has got balls of steel.
Yeah.
Like
and the crowd loves her.
I've never seen someone. She's the most confident player on court. Like in the most crucial moments, you just see her, and she just has an air of confidence about her. For someone that young, I think she's going to go really far in the game.
Yeah.
And I think she is the one to watch in the next few years in the women's game. She's incredible. Granted, she lost to Halep. My tip to win it. Do you remember that?
You did say that.
It was a bit boring. She was first seed, but
top 3 in the world. So.
Yeah, but come on, mate. I just didn't see anything apart from. I think she won it last year as well. So I've gone up that same.
Could have gone on a double, mate.
I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but she's won it. She's won that tournament before.
Yeah, it's always wise to keep an eye. So now she's ranked number 2 in the world as well after that. So
yeah, impressive. No, she's a top player. Like Rybakina, just before that, she beat. Who did she beat? She beat Caroline Pliskova in an impressive match. That was. She beat Martic, the Croatian lady.
Well, yeah, I think.
And they're all top players, and she's someone that young to be taking so many top players. It's incredible. So
yeah, well,
hats off to her. And I find it interesting watching these tournaments as well, because if you watch them, you can see the coach talking to the players after a few games, and it's interesting to listen to. And I feel like she's got it. She's got it all sussed out. She's got a good team around her, and I'm going to be watching and see how she does. So. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. So watch this space.
Luckily,
look out for Rybakina and support her, because she's an impressive, amazing player.
She's got a good team around her, but luckily she doesn't have team around her. Otherwise, she might not ever win that final.
That's true. Well, she's looking like at the moment she's not winning them, is she?
Well, but she's
nah, she will be soon.
She's climbing the ranks. I think she's hitting her. She's 20 years old.
She's learning still a lot in the game.
She's 20 years old, so she's still growing she's still creating her craft, isn't she? She's working out who she is as a player.
Yeah, of course.
So, and we've seen it. She's come on leaps and bounds since last year. So,
yeah.
Let's move away from that. We're going to nearly wrap it up, but before we do, let's just have a fan question, shall we?
Yeah, we've had quite a few different fan questions.
We got
We
one.
don't know which one to pick out, but we've got a few interesting ones.
I'd quite like the funny ones. Like, a lot of the time, like, there's been a lot of just Fed hate on there.
Yeah,
but
the Fed tards, that's us.
Fed tards. Yeah, so I've noticed one of these questions in there. Yeah, for a guy called Billy Calpin.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting name.
Billy the Kid.
No, thanks for your question, Billy.
Yeah,
Appreciate
he said,
it.
hello, lads. Loving the content.
Sounds like a bit of a geezer.
I
this
know,
Billy.
he sounds like a bit of a geezer. Keep it coming. He's like, my question is, who's the better tennis player between JG and Ben?
Well, do we have to answer it? I don't know. Like, it's a bit. I feel sorry for you. I don't know. Like,
What do you mean you feel
Like-
sorry for me?
wait, what's the question? Better tennis player. So it's an
Yeah.
all-round game. I beat you. I've played you in the
All
summer.
right, whoa. Let's slow this down. Let's slow this down.
Go on then. What do you want to do? Go on, defend
Well-
yourself how you can.
Well, I used to play many years ago and I was out of the game for about 10 years. Jaron had been playing at quite a good level at his club. And
No,
then
not
I
great level.
came back on my second session, I think, and managed to be 5-2 up in the set
In the
before
final set, right?
the legs just went and the fitness died, and then Jaron took over.
Yeah, no. To
Yeah.
be fair, he was 5-2 up. I think he was serving for the set. You serving for the match.
I aced you 3 times, mate.
Yeah, no. His serve was popping.
Well, oh yeah.
He was serving for the match, and it got to he just couldn't do it, mate.
couldn't.
He couldn't serve it out, and I think
felt-
I won the set 7-5.
I think in my head I had Dominic Thiem saying, you can't
Hey,
do
stop
it.
calling Dominic to the bottle, mate. Only I do that. I can slag him off, but
can't
you
do it.
can't.
All right, fair enough.
But yeah, no. So neither of us are that great, to be fair. I would say on the previous match we played, I edged it. So on that basis, I would say I'm the better player. Whoever you dissect our game, I'll give him the serve.
But
His
then-
serve is impressive.
The way that I'm going to analyse this is, if you watched Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder 1, I'm like Tyson Fury from the first fight, rising from the ashes, and in the
No,
second,
'cause it was a draw. It was
and
a draw the first fight.
and in the second fight, annihilate him. So wait for the next matchup. We'll give you some coverage.
Don't
of
listen
it.
to him. He's more like Andy Ruiz. He had one moment where he took a set, and after that,
I can only run around for 5 minutes. We'll call it
yeah.
a day there.
Thank you for listening. I hope you liked our new little place. I don't know if
Yeah.
we're going to be back here again.
But we'll
To
try.
be fair, we like it, so we might do. Let us know what you think about the area.
Thanks for subscribing as always.
Yep.
Try and get us up as much as possible.
Yep.
We get past the 500 mark soon.
Yep.
And just keep your likes, comments, and just any fan questions. Just anything you want to ask.
We want to
us.
hear from you, so just keep interacting with us on Twitter
Even if you
and
wanna-
Instagram.
Even if you want to ask where he went skiing, it wasn't me, it was him. Yeah, anything. Yeah.
Yeah, no, honestly, it's been brilliant. Thanks for listening. But
Thanks
one
for
thing before we say goodbye, let us know what you think about the clay court swing. Do you think it should be stopped? They should all be in hard court. Do you agree with Mr. Kyrgios about that, or do you feel like it's good? It's good for the locals. It's good. It's a good event. Let us know. We're keen to know. Anyway, wrap it up there.
Yeah. See you
Thanks for
later.
listening.
Next
See ya.
time.
Bye.